my second and final review of Miyazaki May 2019. Today's film was interesting, and that I have a good bit to say about it. And a lot of it is not all that good. Now, to be fair, this was not a bad movie. Far from it. I think it's wonderful. But there were a few details here and there and maybe a few other spots that really could have been a lot better. So I think with that being said, let's go ahead and get started on today's review on The Tale of Princess Kaguya. Starting audiences right out of the gate, the film opens with a bamboo cutter finding a little girl in a stalk of bamboo. Believing her to be sent by gods and destined to become a princess, he takes her home to his wife and the two decide to raise her. Unlike most children though, she grows much more quickly, physically and mentally. And soon, after a series of other fortunate events, she and her parents move to a palace where she's officially made a princess and is later given the name Kaguya. It's also not long after this happens that she attracts the attention of several noblemen and even the emperor himself, as they all want to seek her hand in marriage. But as all of this is going on, Kaguya feels she's losing herself and wishes to go back to her countryside home, and eventually learns of her true origins. And as much as I'd like to give a complete analysis here and ruin the ending for those who haven't seen it, I'm going to save it for later on in the review because trust me, it plays a big role in my thoughts on the movie. But let's just say the title of this review is a big giveaway. So much so that the guy in Ancient Aliens with the crazy hair would probably say, "Told ya." Okay, that's kind of insulting. This film does draw a lot from a Japanese folktale, and it doesn't seem like it's my right place to make fun of it when I don't know anything about it. Sorry. Overall, I have pretty mixed feelings about the movie, and as you'll see in a minute, they're on pretty specific elements. Yeah, like I said before, this film was interesting. On the one hand, this was a very, very unique film amongst a massive lineup of Ghibli films. But on the other hand, there were a lot of missed opportunities that could have not only made this a unique film, but a great film. Overall, I give The Tale of Princess Kaguya a 75. Now, I know in the realm of Miyazaki May, I go on and on and on about the animation and the plot and how all great it is, yay! But when it comes to animation, The Tale of Princess Kaguya really deserves to be talked about more, because good gosh, look at it! The animation in this movie is very different than what you'd normally see in a Ghibli film. It's kept very simple, almost like a combination of a watercolor painting and a Japanese wall scroll. It presents this very minimalistic style that almost reminded me of Devilman Crybaby. The detail rested in the character designs rather than in the backgrounds. And honestly, this is some of the most beautiful animation you'll ever see in anime. Easily one of my top 10 beautifully animated anime films of all time. And this is coming from someone who likes the detailed animation style when it comes to anime. It's an acquired taste, sure, but I think it's still beautifully animated even for a Ghibli film. Also in a rare move for Ghibli, there's an equally unique story, though it tends to move at a snail's pace. But that's not why I address it here. The reason why I was so sold on the plot was because of the message it had. There's a great message in the film about how fame, fortune, and just overall materialism can hollow you out into a shell of your former self. And while the bulk of this is seen through the bamboo cutter, I thought it was presented very well. However, that's not to say that Kaguya herself doesn't show this as well. From about the midway point towards the end, Kaguya finds herself trying to gain back some semblance of reality in her life. And throughout the film, we see her constantly try to find it. In one instance, as well as one of the best clapbacks in the film, when 5 of the most important noblemen ask for her hand in marriage and start comparing her to these rare and almost non-existent objects, she says, "All right then, if I'm as precious as these treasures you seem to compare me to, go find them and bring them back to me." 2 of them return bringing fake replicas of the items. Another 2 literally die trying to find theirs. And one doesn't even bother to find the item he promised her and instead tries to smooth talk her into marrying him. It's only until he gets a glimpse of an ugly servant he believes is Kaguya that she and the audience realizes he only cares for her beauty. Yeah, and if you're having the same reaction I had at how shallow this guy is, then the film is doing its job. In fact, there were several moments where the film seemed to spit in the face of ancient Japanese culture and mindset. There was a particularly disheartening moment after Kaguya receives the proposals from earlier when her teacher tells her that marrying any one of them would bring her lifelong happiness, even if she has never met them. Again, if you're not in awe at how phenomenally shallow that whole thing sounds, then you're clearly missing something. Well, maybe not, but that's how I saw it. And sure, many people would argue that this message has been said before in other films, and I'd be lying if I said I didn't agree. But I think in a day and age where fame can go so quick to your head that it can destroy you, it bears repeating. So amongst the different art style and the great message in the overall plot, this film definitely has some nice perks to it that warrant at least one watch. Still, I wouldn't be doing my job here if I didn't address a few glaring problems with the movie. One of those problems being, I didn't like the ending. Now, to give you fair warning here, I'm about to spoil the ending. So if you have any interest in seeing this movie and don't want it spoiled for you, skip to this time right here and simply know that there was a moment before the movie's ending that I thought should have been the real ending. If you're still here, let me explain. Towards the end of the movie, we learn that Kaguya is originally from the moon. Hence, the ancient aliens joke from earlier. And after hearing about how miserable she is living in the palace, the people of the moon decide to bring her back. And that's pretty much what happens at the very end of the film. The people of the moon come down, her memories are wiped clean, and she's taken away. Yay! The end. While this ending isn't terrible by any means, what bothered me the most about this scene is that there's a prior scene that honestly would have made the better ending. In said scene, Kaguya finally goes back to her old home and even gets to see an old childhood friend one last time as he's moving back to the area after being gone for years and years. What follows is this beautiful scene where the two decide to run away, all while the friend's wife and child are waiting for him. And they go flying through the sky till night falls and Kaguya is all, "No, wait, I don't want to leave just yet. Please let me stay longer." And then she vanishes. But then it turns out it's all a dream. That's right, people. That's all this scene was. It was just a dream. Really? What a shame, because I thought the film would have ended a lot stronger had it ended with this scene where she flies around with the friend. Better yet, what if the two of them flew back to the palace and after a short reunion with all of the characters from the film, then the moon people come and take her away? Not only that, The way the film ended was also kind of awkward. Why? Because it just ends. We don't know what happens to her parents or the people in the palace, or heck, we don't even know anything about the childhood friend after she's taken away. Once she's taken up to the moon, the film just ends. Again, yay! The end. This ending seems so clunky and kind of rushed that it made the film end on a really bitter note. These kinds of endings aren't bad when they're done right, but when you compare this ending to the scene that came before it, the scene where she finally comes home and comes to grips about her fate, it becomes a big letdown. One final problem that I had with the movie that I normally praise in Ghibli movies was the English voice acting. I really felt like the English dub was kind of lackluster. Though to be fair, most of the actors are unknown to me, so I've never even seen or heard them in any other works outside of this movie. Even so, everyone seems to give the bare minimum. Granted, I felt like the actress who voiced Kaguya did a good job, but I felt like a lot of her voice over sounded the same in tone and mood. At best, she gave about 75% of her talent in this. Again, the acting wasn't terrible. I just thought it needed more. Though let's face it, this movie could have used a lot more. More of a unique animation style, more dramatic acting, even a more gripping ending that ties everything up nicely. So yeah, the Tale of Princess Kaguya, it wasn't a bad movie, but it wasn't a great movie either. It's a very unique movie amongst all of the Ghibli films for its art style alone. But beyond that, it's serviceable at best and really needed more than what audiences were given. It's not the best Ghibli film, but it's very much a very memorable film, and it definitely deserves a watch. And so that wraps up today's review. As always, thank you so much for watching, and be sure to stick around for June when I start things off with a winter 2019 anime that is surprisingly not The Promised Neverland. Till next time, bye!